Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Deep Day podcast. Welcome back. I'm here with Phil and Headley. Today, we are going to be on the topic of music. So, we're going to go a little bit over the history of music, as well as what music means to us individually. Both, I write a lot of songs, so I'm gonna go a little bit into what I write and why I write and that sort of thing. And I also listen to music basically 24/7. So
Yeah, same pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah. So
Mm.
we're gonna go a little bit into that then. Uh, so what shall we start off with?
Well, I've done my research on this topic, right? And I was digging around, reading around, in the deepest, darkest depths of the internet.
Oh, I don't
And
like where this is going.
on my journey, I discovered some magical things. Um,
I really don't like where this is going.
so, firstly, the question is, what is music, right? And I've got two definitions for it, and we'll go with the most popular one on this podcast. Music, as I've understood it, is an artistic form of auditory communication incorporating instrumental or vocal tunes in a structured and continuous manner. That's what music is
Yeah.
at
Right.
like its
Yeah.
very, very core, right?
There's no way I would have thought that. No.
And
Okay.
there is arguably one true definition of music, and that is music is universal, and yet it is also relative and subjective.
Yeah, well, it is relative and subjective because
But it's also universal, right?
yeah. Of course, it might be universal, but some people might say I don't like music, but they like certain songs, right?
Yeah.
That is
So,
very true.
yeah, so even if you don't listen to a lot of music, you would enjoy listening to a certain rhythmic wave or something like that, which is basically why
Birds
people like
singing
different
can
songs.
also be music. Like the sounds of nature can also be seen as music to some people's ears, right?
Yeah, like birds singing.
Yeah.
Mm. Or even if you're like sitting at a table and just bang your fists on the table, like making some sort of beat pattern.
Yeah, the
And it's in a
cosmic
structured
jitter.
and regular way as
It's
well.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
but the thing about structured, it's like there are a lot of songs out there which people might listen to and think about like this sounds very out of beat and shit like that. For example, Blueface, he doesn't rap on beat at all.
Mm.
So that kind of like the beat, of course, is structured and rhythmic, but his vocals are not. So that kind of changes the definition a little bit. I would just say that music is something you enjoy listening to.
But if it's
yeah.
someone's voice, so let's say
Yeah, your voice is music to my ears, baby.
oh baby, oh I'm going all
Oh,
red. Oh.
oh, fuck off.
How do you know man you? Is that me, bitch?
Nah, Headley, you sound like a broken record.
What? Monotone Grim Reaper,
Oh.
depressed because no one's dead.
My voice is actually normally pretty monotone, but it's just when I'm doing this podcast, I try to overexcite myself a little bit, even though it's not that exciting. I try to
Oh,
overexcite myself because it
oh
may.
wow,
Yeah,
that's
but it.
amazing.
Yeah, Headley, but the thing is, it makes it sound more intriguing if
Yeah, no, that's
actually,
true.
if all the co-hosts are fucking depressed and monotone, who the fuck is gonna be interested in that?
I agree with that, yeah. Hashtag Siri
Exactly.
out here running the show.
Yeah.
The
takes us back to episode 1,
good old days, huh?
the
It's not
good
even been
old
that long.
days.
It's been what, 5 weeks? No, 7 weeks. It's been 7 weeks
It's
since,
almost been 2 months.
yeah, since we started. Yeah.
How? How?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Wait, shall we get back to the topic of music? All
Yes.
right.
yeah.
Um.
So,
Please don't
I,
start with
I,
music.
yeah, shut
Sorry,
up. All right. So,
it's a good
what I
song. Good song.
can I say something?
No, you can't, Alex. We're going to
No.
carry on with the origin and history.
Yeah, but how the fuck can you determine the origin of music? Like, what about those Stone Age people banging rocks together? Like, fucking hell, like, doof, 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 ooga booga, right? Could have done that shit. That would have been music to them.
Well,
Oh yeah, maybe.
historically
Actually, yeah,
speaking,
probably
there
because
is six
that's what they
periods
had.
of music, right? And
Right, yeah, go
each
on.
period has a particular style of music that has greatly formed how we use music today. Starting in the Middle Ages, so 500 to 1400 BC,
Mhm.
like all the instruments that they had then is what we still have today, but just improved, like harps and I want to say banjos, but I'm not too sure about banjos if I'm honest.
They
Um,
had
Banjos.
banjos.
it seems like
Redneck hillbillies.
exactly.
I
Um,
fuck my sister. Alright, continue.
I'm sure you do, Alex. But that's a
I,
topic for another
I,
day.
I, I don't have a sister.
So, anyways, the six periods and like origin of music, right? Medieval ages, um, 500 to 1400 BC. Then there was the Renaissance, 1400 to 1600. And there was Baroque music. Sometimes what I listen, well, actually, I listen to it for breakfast every day. That was 1600 to 1760. And then also
wait,
classical
wait,
music.
wait,
Go on.
wait. Give me like. Did you say the medieval period is 500 BC?
Yeah, you said the medieval ages are 500 to 1600 BC.
I think you mean AD,
That's
Yeah, because
exact. Yeah, 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 yeah.
it
Sorry, AD.
wasn't before Christ, bro.
before COVID.
Yeah,
So just say that.
I.
That's what he meant.
Yeah, definitely before COVID.
Thank you for that save, Headley. Yeah, AD.
It's
My
alright.
bad. Um, as I
I
was
was
saying,
wondering why the
Sorry.
fuck you guys have such different time stamps than we have.
well,
It's
you just do it
confusing.
differently up there. The UK is built different, okay?
No, it's Scandinavians who are built different. You fucking Catholics.
Could I just please continue with the origins of music and like the fucking history, man?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
So, as I was saying, Baroque and classical music sort of link together. They're pretty much the same, and the years also entwine with each other. So, classical music first started in 1730, which is 30 years before the end of Baroque music, which ended in 1760. And classical music went from 1730 to 1820. Like in literature as well, um, after classical music, there came the Romantic era of music, which was from 1850 to 1910. That sort of, and then in the sixth period, which is also the period that we're in now, was the 20th century and 21st century music. So,
People started making rap music trash.
We got like
Making
hip
trap.
hop, yeah.
yeah, pretty much. So, 1900 to 2000 to now. Um, and that music which we have in this current century is basically all of the stuff before mixed together into one, right?
Mm,
Interesting.
yeah, but there was the introduction of like electro and things like that, which isn't from before because they didn't have electricity. So that's the only new thing, and then people have sort of just developed that really.
Yeah, but the thing is, Electro has had to evolve from something because you can't create something out of nothing.
Why not? What about rap? How can you link that to classical?
And now that's linked to rock and roll, which came from blues.
Which came
Mm,
from classical music.
Yes.
all right,
Because
okay.
jazz, correct me if I'm wrong, but jazz originated in late 18th, like 1800s and the start of the 1900s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And that was like drums and saxophones and I don't know what else they use really.
You know what? You should just name this episode Three Idiots Trying to Understand Music History.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, all right, all right. I don't know if there's any music historians out there, but if you're
There will
listening,
be.
all right,
There's like
One day,
toilet
one day.
historians out there.
one
like-
day, all right. But if you're listening to this shit, we're sorry if we got anything wrong, all right.
By the
No,
way,
we're sorry
probably-
for everything that we got wrong.
It's
Yeah,
not a banjo.
Phil probably came or got all of this shit from Wikipedia, all right, and we have no idea.
I actually didn't.
Yeah, I don't really care where you got it from, but I have actually no idea if what I'm saying is correct. It's just shit I learned in like 7th and 8th grade in school, all right, that I sort of remember.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not a banjo, it's actually a lute. Just want to get that out there.
Oh,
Lute.
I've played the lute.
So why didn't you correct me earlier? What the fuck, man?
Because
when you say
I
banjo, it doesn't link to
Yeah, a
lute,
banjo and a lute is not the same thing. A lute is like a guitar, but it's round and it slips off your fucking
Which is
lap
not a
every
banjo.
No,
time you
it's
try
a
to
pear
play.
shape. Listen, it's a pear shape. It's not round. A banjo is round. A lute is pear
Yeah.
shaped.
Yeah, but I meant that it was.
Yeah, exactly,
Fuck
Adam.
you, Thomas. I've played the lute. Of course, I know it's a fucking pear shape. It was
So
just
why'd you say it's
the-
round?
Because it was
So why?
just
No, no,
the
listen,
easiest-
listen. You say
No,
you play it
listen,
and you
listen.
say it's round. That
I'm
does
gonna
not make
burst
sense.
I
everyone's
said
ears.
You know, I meant round, like you know the.
Yeah, keep talking, buddy. Dig
wait,
yourself a
what-
deeper hole.
No, but what am I gonna call it? The equator of it. Its form is round, like the middle
No,
thing
it's
is
not.
round.
It's pear shaped.
Yeah, the middle
Alright.
bit, the middle bit,
The
whole.
middle bit is round. That was what I was aiming for, you dumbass cunt. I wasn't talking about the whole thing.
Oh.
Alright, anyways, it slips off your fucking lap and you can't play like normal.
That's right.
Coming back to jazz, right, and the blues. The trumpet was actually invented in the Renaissance musical period.
You know
Jazz-
how jazz music is shit. That's why the Honda Jazz is so shit.
Nah,
No,
bro.
I'm joking. I'm
alright,
joking.
yo,
I just had
Headley,
to make a
Headley.
link to cars. Right? Jazz music isn't shit. I've been to many jazz festivals, so
Bro,
Too good.
jazz music and a cigar and a nice glass of whiskey. Boom.
And a cigar.
Dana
A
high.
fine Cuban cigar.
Yeah,
but
alright.
why?
Phil.
No one
You've
cares,
been
man.
how many weeks without smoking now? How many cigars you've been?
I actually let me check. I think we just passed. Well, I don't know about
2
we.
days.
Yeah, this has
But-
nothing to do with music, but
I haven't smoked in 16 days.
oh nice.
Yeah.
Alright, anyways, jazz and blues originated from the slaves, right? In America.
Yeah.
Didn't it?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, right. That makes so much sense now.
Yeah, when the slaves were depressed and shit, they just started
Yeah,
singing.
when they
and
did
then
the sing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
like
that
to
makes
keep
so
it
much
was
sense.
it's like to keep morale up, right? Like
Yeah,
to keep
while they
them
work.
going.
Yeah.
They didn't really have much choice.
Yeah, it didn't really, did they?
Not that Why are we laughing?
Yeah, I don't know. Not
Alright,
something we should
anyway.
laugh about, right?
Yeah, it's nothing we should laugh about.
Alright.
Alright,
Fuck you lot. Alright.
should we just start by talking about like what we listen to and what it means to us?
Yeah, I think it's about time we move on from the history of music.
Yeah, alright, let's start with Headless fucking tasteless music shit.
So I like to put my ear to a table and tap my fingers on the table, and it sounds really cool.
So you're describing autism in a nutshell.
Oh, wow. You can't even say that because everyone's done it.
Bro, you say everyone's done it. You got schizophrenia, right? You got like a voice in your head telling you this shit.
No, listen,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
actually pretty
Something
shit.
like
I was walking yesterday morning, right,
Yeah.
and I like blacked out in my own head. So I was walking. I walk every morning. I blacked out, and I walked half the normal route, completely blacked out. So I was on one side of like my block, and then I blacked
On
out for
my
like
block.
10 minutes, and I ended up on the other side. I was like,
My
what the
block.
fuck just happened?
Yo, if you want to
You
talk,
sure you just didn't
yo,
forget?
yo. If you want to talk road man, what you do is when it comes a C and a K at the end of a sentence, you do the block, right?
Yeah. On my block.
On my block.
Oh, you sound like you got some fucking big ass lips. Big ass lips.
Big ass lips. All right. Anyways, Headley, what music do you listen to?
Right. I have a bit of everything actually. There isn't anything that I would go, no, I won't even try that genre of music. I have everything. I
Yeah,
don't
but
like
do you have like a certain aspect of the music you listen to which kind of draws you in?
mostly like I want to say pop, but I don't know which bits of pop people will be thinking about. Okay.
No, pop just means popular music, brother.
Yeah, I know, but popular music these days is like fucking drill and all that shit, and that's not predominantly what I listen to. I listen to like anything. Okay, I have like Amory, right?
Mm.
I
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
but only like bits. I only have like one song of Amory, one song of like Ariana Grande, one song of fucking Justin Bieber. That's big.
Wait, you
Oh, I
listen
can't.
to Justin Bieber?
No, yeah, but not actually. Do I? I have his songs, but I don't think I listen to them really. Like I like them once upon a time, and then I move on. But then I have things like the Stranglers, which is from fucking 80s. Yeah, 80s. Do you know the Stranglers?
No.
They're a sort of rocky. They're not anything heavy though. And then I have like Nevada, Guns N' Roses, and
Ooh,
then I
Guns N'
have people
Roses.
like Skengo. Um,
Yeah, you don't have to
a,
name every single band you
yeah,
got
okay.
in my
What
playlist,
I'm
mate.
just sort of saying is
Yeah, you
just spread
listen
out.
to a lot
Actually,
of
I think
shit.
the one thing I don't have on there, I think, is jazz.
Yeah,
Even though
we know you
the
hate
one
jazz.
concert, even though the one concert genre has been jazz, and I think that's mainly because the people who go to jazz festivals are actually like cool.
Fair enough. All right, so what does that music actually do for you? Like, in what context do you listen to it, and what does
Right.
it help
So
you with?
if I'm on the way to school, it's just nice. It's sort of like a blank zone. So I don't really have to
Mm.
think about anything apart from what I'm listening to, and it's just it's just sort of nice because
So it brings you
it
peace,
takes you out of
basically.
the zone. It's sort of a high, actually. I think I'd explain it as some sort of high because it
Wait, does it like
yeah
distract you from your current thoughts? So, let's
yeah
say you're on the bus and you had a shit morning, and
yeah
then you
yeah.
just,
I'll go and listen to some music.
yeah, to like clear your heads and get away from thoughts
Yeah
maybe.
yeah. It's like when I clean my teeth at night. I now I didn't always, but now a lot of the time I'll like dance like
Oh, nice.
hard. I'll dance hard and I'm sweating by the end. And no, but it really like I'll turn my phone over. I won't look at any notifications until I finish cleaning my teeth. That's why I end up cleaning my teeth for about 20 minutes rather than
Mm.
two, right?
Yeah.
But it's just nice not to think about anything. I'm not thinking about schoolwork. I'm not thinking about good things or bad things. I'm just enjoying myself in that moment in time.
Fair enough.
But music is quite crucial to me as well because obviously I dance. So if I didn't have
Is
music, I couldn't dance.
is it like a big part of your life then, you would say?
It is quite big. If I didn't have it, I'd be quite not lost without it, but it would be a big section like taken out of me. In fact, the other day, because I'm learning to drive now,
Mm.
actually yesterday, um, my mum drove somewhere because it's just boring driving the same circuits all the time. So we drove out by Basingstoke, and she said the one thing I do like about me driving and not you is we can keep the radio on. And I
Mm.
was thinking, yeah, that's the one thing I would appreciate as soon as I've passed my test. I'll be thinking I can put some music on
Oh yeah.
Fair
because
enough.
Yeah.
it just sort of chills you out. It chills you out. Oh
I
Yeah,
nice.
think those two
fair enough.
things, driving and having some music that are like really in the zone for you, are like the
Oh yeah.
perfect combination. Just
No,
driving.
I think The perfect
music.
combination for me would be sitting in the car with music on and having some food. Like
Mm.
driving, music, stop off, eat some food,
Kebabs.
and drive a little bit more.
Mm.
Kebab, yeah, anything.
Yeah.
Like literally, I could eat anything in the car.
Yeah.
When
Um,
you're sad, Headley,
when I'm
does
sad, oh yeah.
music help you? Or do you prefer
Well,
taking ketamine? Okay,
um,
let me rephrase the question.
Do you do
what?
drugs or do you listen to music?
So Headley, when you're sad
Right.
or when you're down in your feelings,
What do you
right?
mean when? You make it sound as if I'm always ultimately sad,
Well, no,
which
it's
I am.
like,
No, I'm joking.
You do sound like a very sad individual, though.
Wow, cheers.
says you, Alex. So Headley, when you're
Yeah, I
sad,
know.
does music help
Well,
you?
what
Or
I've noticed, I never, I think I used to be one of the only people who didn't have like a sad playlist, if you understand what I mean. Like
mm,
loads of people, they either always listen to depressing music, or they have a depressing music playlist somewhere on their fucking like library or whatever.
right?
Um, and I was one of the people who didn't have it, right? And then I was thinking, oh, like one day I got like sad, and I was thinking, oh, I wish I had some music to like listen to because I go onto Spotify, get an advert, and I go, wow, this isn't really suiting the mood, is it?
Mm,
So so I decided to make one, but I still realised that my music is different to other people. Like when people listen to their sad music, theirs is making them worse, right?
yeah,
And in
yeah,
the
yeah,
fact
yeah.
like it will make them try hard, think, oh, this is a really sad situation, blah blah blah. But mine's sort of get your head out the gutter. No, not get your head out the gutter. That's a completely wrong fucking phrase.
Getting your head out of gutter means you don't
Yeah,
have dirty thoughts.
yeah, exactly. But sort of pick yourself up, um, move on with your life,
Yeah.
and sort of uplifting rather than making yourself sad. It's sort of wipe the tears away, suck up, move on. It's happened
Yeah,
now.
fair enough. All right,
Um,
Phil,
Yes.
you're next.
Well, a lot of the time now, I listen to heavy metal. That's like
Yeah,
my go-to music now. Um,
fair enough.
Before that, I went through a stage where I was listening to drill and to all the current, like,
shit.
yeah, pretty much like the popular stuff. But I realized that I wasn't listening to it for myself. I was listening because I wanted to fit in with everyone else because everyone was like rapping these drill lyrics. But yeah, I listened to drill because I was like, oh, this is cool, and cool people are listening to this, or at least in my eyes, they were cool because they were like these gang people, and I wanted to be part of that cool movement. But then I
Which
was
you are
like,
now, so you're happy.
okay, thanks, haha. Then, however, I was like, well, this isn't really true to me. And actually, it was my thanks, Alex. It was my brother and my dad who actually introduced me more into heavy metal. And
Really?
yeah, my dad is a metal fan. He has like all the ancient albums. Well, they're not even ancient, but they're like 1990s. That's like dinosaur era for us millennials, right?
Hmm. Interesting.
But yeah, I love heavy metal, and I think it like understands me, and I understand it. When I listen to heavy metal, people like sing. They actually sing, right? That's something that I don't experience in the radio anymore. People don't sing. They just talk over a beat. Whereas
Yeah.
like music from the 80s, pop or heavy metal, it's actual instruments being played,
Yeah,
not like a
that's what I
beat.
miss.
Yeah, I
And
know
it's
how you
people
feel,
singing
mate.
more than three fucking tones. There's
I
a
Yeah,
know how you
huge
feel.
range of sounds in that. And I really, really, really appreciate that because to me that's true music, right?
yeah,
It's people
me too.
playing physical instruments using their voices in a wide range of things.
Yeah, yeah. I see where you're coming from. So how has like heavy metal and of course in the past drill music, how has those genres kind of helped you get through tough times or help you keep yourself up when you have good times?
I think with the drill, ultimately it just like made me feel worse.
Yeah, it was just trying to distract yourself, but didn't go as planned.
Yeah, it was like, well, this is what's cool right now, and I had such a desire to be seen as cool by other people that I would try anything really to get that approval. But
Yeah,
inside I was
no, I
still
feel.
really insecure and wasn't feeling great about myself. And I think drill and the current music really reinforced that in myself.
Yeah,
Um, However, heavy metal, that was like the light at the end of the tunnel for me. The the anger in some of the songs that I've listened to and still listen to, like that resonates with my own feelings sometimes. And when I've been upset and down and I've listened to the heavy metal, I really felt I want to say connected to that song because I know that someone out there has felt the same way.
yeah, and I know
And
that
Yeah.
heavy metal music often has very deep texts. Like
mm,
people really don't listen to the text, probably because you can't hear it because there's so much screeching. But if you look up the lyrics and you actually read it, it's fucking deep shit, man.
Well, I think that's why people listen to things like drill and rap because
realistically though, Headley, can any of us relate to drill? I don't know anyone
no,
in my close circle
no,
that's grown up on a block and run drugs and stabbed people. I
no.
cannot relate to it.
But
No,
then,
bro, it's not stabbed people, it's shanked.
Sorry,
Get the
my
oh
bad.
term.
yeah, yeah, get the terminology right, man. Um, no, but then you get people who like want to be like that and look up to people like that. But then you also get the drill artists who speak about normal things. However, it's just in a
I
different.
went to
It's just
Sainsbury's. I
yeah.
bought a meal
Oh
pack
my
for
god.
three
No,
pounds.
it's like oh this girl broke my heart. I want to chef her up, fam. Like that.
Yeah, but I feel like with drill, like especially drill, and I'm gonna go into drill, right? So no,
Mm.
I'm not saying basic rap, but I'm saying drill.
Going into drill who?
Yeah, but
Oh, his
I
sister.
feel yeah, fuck off, you dumbass cunt. All right, but I feel with drill, it's harder to connect with an audience through drill, right? Because the beats are always overly violent and
Mm.
Yeah.
they're just fucked, basically, in my opinion.
Mm.
This is my
Like the
opinion.
anime that you watch.
Yeah, basically. Uh, but
Well,
like,
technically,
for example, through normal rap, like back in the day, I used to listen to a lot of Eminem. For example, I still listen to like 3 or 4 Eminem songs, and I always rap with it. And I haven't experienced what has gone through,
Mm.
but a lot of the things that he writes I can resonate with and I can connect with on a deeper level
Yeah.
because the beats basically always reflects the text in
Yeah, I
his
was just
songs.
thinking that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's not like a overly violent beat and a depressive song. It's like if it's a very depressive song, usually has a slow tune
Let's
with
take
the
his
yeah,
song
yeah.
Mockingbird as an example, right?
yeah, that has a slow BPM, dark sounds, bass, and
And he
his
raps about his
voice.
daughter, right?
Yeah, he
And
raps about his daughter Haley.
yeah, and the song lyrics and the music, they are perfectly matched. Like,
Yeah, they are perfectly in sync.
yeah, the music really, really, really fits well with the vocals that goes on top of it. And I think
It
that's what I
does.
appreciate so much more about, uh, I want to say olden music, right, than the current music that's out right now,
Yeah.
because the lyrics and the music are truer to each other than they seem now. I think artists
Yeah, old
today,
school.
yeah, artists today
Yeah,
just try
definitely.
to entertain the masses and get
Yeah,
music
so
out
they
there,
they
right?
sing about sex, money, and drugs mainly. Those are like the
Well,
three top requirements if you want to be a trapper.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And a lot of the things, right? For example, um, There was a song I listened to not too long ago. There was this like 17-year-old rapper from Atlanta, you know, that stereotypical thing, right?
Mm.
And he
Yeah.
sings about fucking mad bitches, snorting drugs, and being rich as fuck. Man, he's not rich. I bet he doesn't fuck a lot of women at the age of 17. And it's like,
Huh.
all right, I'm not one to judge, all right, and I'm not one to say that someone doesn't have something, right? But if you look at
Yeah.
the thing, if you look at the song objectively, it wouldn't resonate with the person actually singing it. Like, for
Yeah.
example, I'm actually listening to music now. I'm listening to Stand by Eminem, right? He's
Beautiful
talking,
song.
yeah, he's talking about a fan named Stan, and that was a really big fan. He wrote letters to Eminem and shit like that, but Eminem was busy and shit, so he couldn't reply. And after a couple of months, he went completely insane and crashed a car into the side of a bridge and flew into the ocean with his girlfriend tied in the back while she was pregnant.
Yeah.
What the?
Yeah,
Listen to
it's
the song,
Wow.
fucked.
Headley.
It's
Listen to the
fucked.
song.
But if you listen to the beat, you can hear rain sounds in the background, right?
Yeah.
There's constant rain sounds. The chorus is slow and it fits with the song itself. And while he's rapping, he raps in a more slow, like I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, you know what I mean.
So,
Yeah.
how does that make you feel then? So, listening to songs like that, do they put you in a more sad mood, or do they
All
make you
right.
appreciate the things that you have in life?
All right, so for me, I am like overly attracted to songs with the depressive text,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Like if
Well.
you look through my list, we have like "Can You Feel My Heart" by Bringing Me the Horizon, "All Girls Are the Same," "Popular Monster," "Never Satisfied" by Corpse, "Losing Sleep," shit like that, right?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of rock, by the way, like "Lonely Day" by System of a Down, "Far From Home," yeah, shit like that, right?
Mm.
And I feel very attracted to sad text for for some unknown reason. It's probably because I'm continually searching for something to relate to, and when I listen to music, like those types of music, I feel like I can close my eyes and I can live into the song.
Yeah.
So I can create my own world and live there basically instead of living in the present. Because to be quite frank with you, I don't really have it that good with myself at the moment.
Yeah.
But
Relatable, man.
yeah, but music, it kind of helps me escape. And I listen to music like 12 hours a day, probably, like no
Your
less.
Spotify numbers must be up there. Like, at the
Yeah,
end of the year, I want to see how many hours you have.
yeah, so do I, man. After I got these new headphones that my dad bought me, I almost don't take them off. And my dad is getting quite annoyed because the noise canceling I can't hear when he's yelling at me.
Nice.
Yeah, but music for me, it's really hard to explain, but I also write my own music, right? You know
Yeah.
this, Phil.
Yeah. I've
So
listened to your songs.
yeah, and I have a couple of texts on my phone now, which I can read up a couple of bars of what I write. And
Go
Go
for
for
it.
it.
if yeah, like I made this song called "Why."
Mm.
The second bar is, "Was I cursed when I was born? No matter how happy I'd become, I would just fall backwards all alone, a lonely man slowly fading until he's gone."
Wow. That's
Yeah, and
it's
if
pretty
you
deep.
scroll a little bit lower down, I write about, but I look at it in a suit or a hoodie, that's me, right? Because I have an overblown ego, so I think I'm fairly good looking chap. I'm not gonna lie. But I write, but I look at it in a suit or a hoodie, that's me. So why the fuck do I hate me for me? I fucking love myself eternally. So why won't I listen to me?
Ooh, that's good.
Right?
That's quite
Yeah,
nice.
because I know that I love myself, and I know that I have qualities, right? Some of them aren't good, of course. Everybody has flaws, but
I don't.
I love the
My mum
person that
doesn't
I
either.
am. Yeah,
She
but I
insists that she doesn't have flaws.
yeah. Well, I love myself for the person that I am, but I can't listen to myself.
Mm.
It's a really weird paradox, right? I know I love myself, but for some reason I don't believe myself.
I think
And the lower
that's,
down,
if you don't
yeah,
mind me interrupting, I
yeah,
think
yeah, sure.
that's like a phase that all of us have gone through to a certain extent.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's been like this for years, man. And I'm getting tired of it, which is why I contacted my doctor to try and get a therapist.
that's why I started
Fair
taking
enough.
drugs. Because,
Yeah, I'm lucky I didn't go that far though.
yeah, count yourself
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah, all right. So another bar I wrote is was I born to fill a gap that's not there? Because I feel like dead weight and a waste of time. I don't want to die, but I shouldn't have born at all. Those are words from a wise man. Of course, I'm quoting Freddie Mercury from Bohemian Rhapsody.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he said, "I don't want to die, but sometimes we shouldn't have been born at all, right?" And
Mhm.
I felt like I was born to fill a gap, but there is no gap, right? So
Well,
I feel like dead weight and a waste of time, basically.
with that,
Right.
I think life, life has a biological purpose, right? And that's to reproduce. That's like the biological reason why humans exist. I think
Yeah.
when filling the gap that you just wrote down, right, that you read out to us, I think that finding ourselves in this life. I mean, we only get one chance, and all three of us were the lucky one out of the 6 million that our dads put into our mums
Yeah,
that
all
made it
right.
out,
Wow.
right?
Yeah,
Right.
I like how
Lovely.
direct you are about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the gap that we are supposed to fill is the gap of finding ourselves, because I believe no one is born knowing who they are.
No.
I
As in, I'm agreeing with you.
like I still don't know who the fuck I am. I don't know how I want to be. Well, I have like an idea of how I want to present myself, but I
Yeah.
still don't fully understand
But then
who I want to be,
the
right?
question is,
Yeah, yeah, but
is that when you die? When you find who you are? Is that when you go?
I think
Because you
so.
find out your
yo,
purpose and things
yo,
like
we're not gonna get started on conspiracy theories right now, bro. Yeah. All right, but for me, I have gone back to quite an instinctive route, right? And the
Okay.
thing is, I've gone back to more instinctively route, and by that I mean that instead of thinking through my every step, I just try to follow my heart or my instincts as much as possible, which is
Hmm.
often why I end up in a lot of trouble because most of my instincts are making jokes out of things that shouldn't be joked about.
Very
But
relatable.
yeah,
that.
but for example, when I meet new people, as I said in the last episode about anxiety, I've stopped kind of caring about what people think of me. So I
Good.
follow this instinctive route, right, where I just present myself as not as I think I should present myself, but as I would present myself if my thoughts weren't there, right? And if you don't like
Right.
me, then
Yeah.
you don't like me. If you love me, then you love me, right?
Has
Mhm.
music played a part in that for you?
It kind of has both writing and listening. Mostly writing, because when you write, you can empty your mind on a piece of paper, and sometimes when you look at back at it, because I go into a blackout when I write, right?
Yeah.
I don't write and think. I don't really think much of getting everything to rhyme. I just start writing, and when I stop, I get back to my senses. And then sometimes when I read it back, there was one time I wrote a song and I actually started crying because I read the text that I had written, and when I was writing it, I wasn't realizing what I actually was writing.
Yeah. What?
So
So
I by doing that, I can kind of clear my head and I can get my feelings definite, right?
Mm.
Because right now my feelings are all jumbled and I don't know what I feel anymore. I can't differentiate between certain emotions and shit like that.
Yeah.
But when you get it down on paper, it's much easier to differentiate because you can actually see the aspects of how you wrote your song.
Yeah.
If you listen to a song that you've written, do you sort of look at it in the third person and then you realize you're like, oh wait, I actually wrote that. That's about me. Do you understand what I
Uh,
mean?
I try to look at everything objectively. So
Right.
I don't look at things from my point of view. I look at things from a neutral point of view.
Yeah, I.
It's taken a
That,
lot of fucking training to be able to do that, mate.
mm,
And
it
to be
is
honest,
good though.
yeah, to be honest, it's still quite hard, to be fair. But I tried to look at everything objectively, and when I listen to some of the songs that I wrote, like I think the song that I made was cringe. But when you actually start listening to the text, it really resonates with me, of course, because I wrote it. But
Mm.
it really gets me put in my feelings and helps me clear up all the messed up yawn and shit and makes me be able to differentiate the different threads.
With that, then, is music like, I don't want to say a place for you to get your shit out, right? But is
Yeah,
it a
but it
place for
is.
you to like process your current emotional state?
Yeah, that's what it has become. Like before, it wasn't really like that. Before, I used to write music because I enjoyed it, and I
Mm.
still actually enjoy writing music. But so now I have like 15 different music texts, 15 different lyrics that I've written,
Mm.
and I haven't recorded a single one of them.
Mm.
Well,
I'm actually planning on recording the one that I just read up, right?
Mm.
mm,
But um, it has kind of become a way for me to differentiate my feelings and to be able to clear up my mind. Because if I don't write music, I usually think about everything,
Mm. Yeah.
right? It's all stuck in my mind. When I put it down on a piece of paper, it's like it gets ripped out of my mind and ends up on the piece of paper again. So I don't have to think about it anymore.
I think as I understand it, I write stories and poetry. Um,
Yeah,
for me, that's like it makes my thoughts real because now they're visible, physical on a piece of paper, and that also relieves me. Music as well, does it when writing the lyrics, does it make it real for you? Does it make the emotions and the thoughts real for you?
you've got to explain that one a little bit. I didn't quite understand the question.
So I wrote a poem about an old friend of mine whilst
Yeah,
I was in rehab, and I spent 2 days crying about this poem because it made me realize the emotions that I had inside of me because they were physically in front of me. I had written down the emotions onto a piece of paper and made them real because I had suppressed them for so long.
yeah.
With your music, is that similar? Um,
Yeah, I actually wrote a song in class once, and I didn't really realize how sad it was, right? Because it wasn't any different from my day-to-day life.
mm,
But I actually showed that text to my friend, and she read it, and she said, "Bro, you've got to get help."
yeah,
And so she explained why, and I was like, "Fuck, maybe I do need to get help."
yeah,
So the thing is, I try to reality check myself a lot more often nowadays because I hate being in an imaginary world. Well, I love being in an imaginary world, but I hate that interfering with the real world.
yeah.
Yeah, so I try to reality check myself as often as I can, and sometimes to do that, I go back and I read my old text,
Mm.
and I see that, fuck, man, I really, really, really need to get help. So it does kind of turn my thoughts and my emotions into a reality for me.
And if you, I can understand if this is a personal question, and it's okay if you don't want to share.
Nah, go ahead and
Um,
ask.
would you share your texts with a future therapist or medical professional?
I was actually planning on doing that because, as I told you, when I write texts, my thoughts kind of get ripped out of my head, so I don't have to think about them anymore.
Mm.
So I kind of reset myself, but my emotions will still linger, right? They will still be there, but I just don't think about them anymore. So
Yeah.
to be able for the therapist to be able to process everything that I'm feeling, I'm basically gonna have to give them the text so they can read it, so they can actually see a little bit better what is going on in my emotions. Because, for example, at the moment, I can't really think about it, if you
Yeah.
know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
So yeah,
Too well, man.
yeah. So I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah.
And if, again, if you don't mind me asking, how do you feel about
Now I'm an
someone
open book.
else knowing about these thoughts? Do you
I'm
feel like
I'm
there's going to be judgment or
no, I'm actually very open about it. But I I have wait, as I told you in the last episode, right?
mm,
Humor has become kind of a self-defense mechanism.
yep,
Yeah.
So a cry for help for me is gonna be like suicide joke. That's gonna be a
Yeah.
cry
Yeah.
that yeah, that is actually a cry for help for me
I think
because
that's the case with a lot of other people as well who
yeah,
who
and
joke about that sort of stuff.
yeah, and during the last month, all right, this is very personal, but I'm gonna share it anyways, just for the sake of the podcast. Uh,
Well,
During probably the last 3 weeks, I have been through the deepest, darkest part of my life. The deepest, darkest fucking part of my life. And I have had thoughts about both suicide as well as self harm. But somehow I've kept myself from actually doing it. And it took me about 4 weeks, I think, before I realized, all right, now I gotta call my doctor and try to get a therapist because I don't want to be like this anymore.
Mm,
And I know that my parents are gonna listen to this podcast and they're gonna hear what I'm saying, but
do they
I
know?
uh I haven't really told them, or I've talked to my brother about it, for
Yeah.
example, but I
Mhm.
haven't told him everything. Like, for example, the suicidal thoughts. I haven't told anyone. Well, I told my best friend about it, but more than that, I haven't actually told anyone about it,
Do you think?
which is quite unusual for me because I usually say everything. I'm an open slate, right? I'm an open book.
mm. So how does it make you feel saying it on a podcast that people listen to, strangers, family and friends? How do you feel about that?
Well, right now I'm getting goosebumps. It is quite scary because as a lot of things no, as a lot of videos I watched on YouTube lately,
Mm,
um I've come a lot of political debates and stuff like that, right? A lot of TED talks and shit like that. And I've come to realize that often suicidal thoughts might be looked down upon a lot, right?
yeah, yeah.
But I know that my parents and my family and friends just want the best for me. And
That's good.
yeah, and for example, my mom and my dad, I haven't told them about this. I haven't. I haven't told them about it at all because I've always been scared of their reaction and what
Ah,
they
yeah.
might do and what they might think, right? And I
Mm.
don't want to worry them. But if
Yeah.
they listen to this releases on Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah. That is the same day that my doctor will call me.
Oh right.
So I would already be in treatment when this gets released, basically.
That's good.
Oh
That's really
right.
good.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So perfectly timed, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
they don't.
so
Sorry, carry on.
I don't really mind them knowing, but I just want them to know that I have had these thoughts. However, I'm doing fine and I'm trying everything that I can to get some help because I want to be happy again. And a lot of the things that have happened is like I haven't been able to, or I couldn't be asked basically to get out of bed every morning. I couldn't be asked to not lay in my bed when I come
Mm.
home from school
Yeah.
until the day that until nighttime and I have to go to sleep. And I can see that my dad is getting pretty irritated that I don't do a lot of chores and shit like that. But still, I haven't been able to tell him about this, so he doesn't know, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't know if he knows and he just doesn't want to talk about it or whatever, or if he actually doesn't know. But I've been scared about talking about this because I know my dad won't react the way I think he will. Like in my head, I'm always thinking like, oh, he's just gonna say, oh, it's just an excuse, shit like that, right? I know he's not gonna react that way, but I can't help myself from thinking about it,
Yeah.
and it's fucked because there have been so many times that I prepared myself for that conversation, but I've never been able to follow it through. And I do get out of bed every morning, even though sometimes I'm late for the bus or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I wake up too late and I do chores, but not as much as I maybe could have. But it's just because I don't have the energy to. But I still do them. Somehow I manage to still get through it. And the way, let me connect this to music, the way music has helped me
I
through
was
this,
just
at
about to
least.
ask. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the way music has helped me through this, it has helped me kind of reality check myself and realize my own emotions so that I actually can get the help that I need and so that I can keep on going because I listen to music when I vacuum and shit like that and it helps me get through it. It helps me actually do it. So I even put on my headphones right after I wake up to go eat
Oh right.
breakfast. Yeah, I put on my headphones straight away and I start listening to music or I watch YouTube or something like that. And it kind of helps me get through the day, you know?
Yeah.
And it distracts from me it distracts me from certain thoughts and shit like that. But so that way it has actually had a tremendous impact on my life and it's a really big deal in my life.
Thank you.
It was gonna come out anyways.
Hey man, go big or go home, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think we can leave it there for today.
Yeah, I think so. All right, so I'd hate it to end it on a depressing note, but we're recorded for quite some time now, and you know, I still have a task I need to do. All right. Anyways, I'd hate to leave it on a depressing matter, so yeah, but no, you're just
Chicken
gonna have.
nuggets. They're happy.
Thank you for listening. It's been a pleasure to have you listening to our podcast. If you would like more, we release a new episode every Wednesday at 3 p.m. GMT. So, thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Deep Day podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. Enjoy the podcast, and more can be found at www.deepdaycast.com. Thanks again, and have a great week.